The last time I worked on my adventure map, I started by redesigning this entire coastline by terraforming it using Axiom, because I want to replace everything in my Minecraft world with my own survival-friendly version, including each biome. I practiced my terraforming techniques to try to make a new beach and some hills behind it, which is where the player spawns in my world. I tried using noise patterns to paint the terrain to make it look as realistic as I could. I designed my own custom survival-friendly trees and painted them into the world using the stamp tool. I created my own version of the vanilla Minecraft shipwreck to replace the one I found on the beach where I spawned. I love how it turned out, but that was just the beginning. I want to replace the village and the ruined portal behind the hills, but first, there need to be giant mountains in this world. I cut out and saved each village structure to use as reference when I replaced them. And I moved the villagers so they wouldn't get hurt by what's about to happen. I cleared the landscape using a brush that replaces blocks with air, so I could have a blank canvas to work on, with nothing in my way. And I cut out and saved a portal so I can replace it later. Well, that was fun. I just used the same technique as I did last time, the method from my tutorial, but on a much larger scale. I need to be able to do this a lot more quickly though, but I think it looks good. I'm happy with it. On to the next one. Let's see if I can do the same thing again, but quicker this time. Well, the answer turned out to be no. I think it started off okay, but I began to realize that no matter how happy I was with it from one angle, it would look misshapen from another. I kept trying to use real mountains like Gran Sasso as reference, but they all seemed to have a good side and a bad side. I realized that people usually take photos of the pretty sides of mountains, and that if I tried to make things too realistic, they won't actually look as good. Instead of giving up right away, I tried to make a shape inspired by Sasita Ridge, because I love how that looks. But I wasn't able to make that work either, so I undid it pretty quickly. I think the pressure might have got to me a bit, because I was trying to make decisions that will affect the look and the style of everything else from here on out, by trying to set a benchmark for the custom terrain. I did some more layering, sculpting, and some carving, but nothing I tried seemed to work. So I closed my reference images, and decided to trust the process, by pretty much starting over again from scratch. Because it's my custom Minecraft world, I want to make it look as good as I can from every angle, and I want it to be unique to me, so I just built the shapes that I wanted to see and stopped trying to recreate something that already exists. Also, this is a magical fantasy world and I'm playing a game, so I'm just going to make whatever I want and do the best I can to make it look good using just my imagination. So I used my usual process for terraforming. I start with big, rough shapes, smooth them, layer smaller shapes on top of them, and then smooth those, lowering the strength and the size of the brushes with each pass. I keep going until a realistic looking shape emerges. Then I try to enhance that with finer details based on what I think looks good, and inspired by real life terrain, but keeping a lot of randomness still, and not trying to make it too perfect. I'm sure everyone has their own favorite way to do this, and this is just a method I figured out for myself. There are probably much better ways, and I hope to learn some new tricks as I build more terrain. And I know there are easier ways, but I prefer to build it myself, so it feels like it's mine, and so I have complete creative control. Eventually, after a few more hours, I was finally happy with it, and ready to start painting my new mountains. Starting with a base coat of light and then darker stones, I began to layer noise patterns using different colors of natural stone types that might be found in a real mountain. By overlaying Voronoi edges and simplex patterns with large gaps in them, over the top of each other, I tried to create an underlayer of rock that looked realistic to me. I kept going with larger and bolder patterns, then eroded and blended them and layered more on top. I was experimenting with how to get as much randomness as I could in there before I would go in closer to paint by hand. I had decided to paint by hand over the top of this because I thought that it would look better if it had a personal touch. But because I liked the Voronoi patterns so much, I decided to use them as inspiration when painting my own details. While I really enjoyed painting the textures by hand, and I like how they turned out in the end, this took a very long time, and I'm not sure if it was worth doing it so extensively this early on, especially as when I get to the grass and mud stage, I overwrite a lot of the details I paint, which just become background noise by the end of the process. To keep it consistent, I painted the back the same way, before overlaying noise made up of grass, moss, dirt and path blocks, and using a mask that only paints blocks that have sky above them. Then I used the same technique with simplex noise using only snow blocks, before replacing some of them with powdered snow using a white noise pattern and a mask that only targets snow blocks. Then finally I hand-painted some extra details to try and make it look more realistic, and added some snow layer blocks further down the slopes. I drew on some paths using a lot of coarse dirt and mud, because I think it adds a really important detail and just makes it look all so much better in my opinion. So I was happy with the first one, time for the second, and again I hoped I could do it quicker this time.